Hello, and welcome to Tales of Repetition Compulsion 9, or Torque 9, as I call them. But, I hear you ask, what do I mean by Tales of Repetition Compulsion, or Torques? Well, since repetition compulsion, in my opinion, can be a difficult concept to understand, I feel the best way to explain it is to give examples, or tales, from our everyday lives, showing how it invades every aspect of our lives. Each story or tale is centered around a specific life category, a specific bad message, and a character, that being either Eva or Jamie. So, in today's Tales of Repetition Compulsion 9, or Torque 9, the life category is family roles, the bad message is don't trust your feelings and ignore your instincts, and the character is Eva. This torque focuses again on family roles and one very damaging bad message: don't trust your feelings or your instincts. So let me tell you a tale or story about Eva when she was a child. This tale explains where this bad message began in Eva's life. Eva grows up in a family where feelings are inconvenient. If she cries, she is told, "You're too sensitive." If she dares make an opinion to one of her caregivers, for example, if she says something like, "My daddy is being mean to me today," she hears, "Don't you be so dramatic. You're too sensitive. You're just imagining things. There you go, making things up again. Stop making trouble." So, from day to day, if Eva ever feels scared, angry, or uncomfortable, no one helps her make sense of it. Instead, the adult dismisses, minimizes, or ridicules her emotional reactions. Sometimes Eva senses danger, tension in the room, a parent's mood shifting, a comment that feels wrong. But when she tries to respond to that instinct, she gets punished emotionally. She gets shut down. She is told to stop making trouble and to mind her own business. One day, when Eva is a little girl, she's at a family dinner. She looks around the table and she thinks she sees tears in her mother's eyes. So, wanting to be kind, Eva asks her mother, "What's wrong?" Her mother immediately goes into defensive mode and shouts at Eva, "What are you talking about? There you go again, making things up and imagining things. You never know when to stop, do you? Go eat your dinner and just let me eat mine in peace." So, Eva learns something very important very early. She learns to shut off her feelings and to shut off her instincts. Expressing her feelings and listening to her instincts only end up with her getting herself into trouble. As a result, in her family role, Eva becomes the easy child, the one who keeps the peace, the one who never questions anything, the one who never challenges anyone. Inside, she feels totally confused, but she learns to override that confusion. She learns to disconnect from her inner signals in order to stay safe in her family. This is not a choice. It's a survival mechanism for Eva. It keeps her from getting herself into trouble with her caregivers. The important thing to remember here is that Eva doesn't even know she is doing this. It's all done in her subconscious mind. This means that Eva is not aware that she has shut off her feelings, and she is not aware that she has also learned to ignore her instincts. Now, this leads Eva growing up into an adult, still shutting off her feelings and still ignoring her instincts. So let's see how in her family role this works out for Eva in her adult life. Although she is grown up now, Eva goes around feeling she is still that small little girl that was always silenced when she tried to express her feelings or when she tried to give an opinion. So, for example, at another family gathering, only remember this time Eva is an adult, Eva sees that her brother is very quiet and tense. She senses something is wrong with him, something's up with him. She notices the instinct telling her this. It screams loud at her, but Eva immediately talks herself out of it. She says to herself, I'm probably overreacting. I'm only imagining this. I'm sure he's fine. There's probably nothing wrong with him. Eva finds out months later that her brother had failed an important exam, and he was actually very upset that day. So Eva was actually right when she felt there was something up with her brother. But she had learned to dismiss her feelings and instincts, so she didn't dare ask her brother if he was okay. She feared she would only get herself into trouble again if she did this. Sadly, had she asked her brother was he okay, this question may have led to Eva and her brother getting closer, getting to know each other. But this kind of interaction was not encouraged in Eva's family. In Eva's family, feelings were not acknowledged, so no real closeness was ever possible between family members. In her family role, Eva has to override her instincts again and again because she learned to do this as a child. Now, as an adult, outwardly, Eva looks sensible, calm, together, mature. But inside, she feels anxious, confused, and she is totally disconnected from her inner self, her real self. She doesn't really know who she is as a person because as a child, she was never allowed to express feelings or listen to her instincts. And sadly, now as an adult, she is still not able to express feelings or acknowledge her instincts. Why is this? It is because the childhood bad message of don't trust your feelings and ignore your instincts is still running the show. And this is repetition compulsion, where harmful patterns learned in a toxic childhood are carried forward into our adult lives as we are forced or to be programmed to repeat what we learned as children. So I'll just say that once more. Repetition compulsion, where harmful patterns learned in a toxic childhood are carried forward into our adult lives as we are forced to or programmed to repeat what we learned as children. But listen, there is hope, lots of hope, and that's why I set up this channel, because even if you're under the control of repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages, there's tons of hope, and that's why I'm here. So much hope that it is totally possible to break free from the control of both repetition compulsion and those 6 bad, nasty line bad messages. And on that positive, hopeful note, I will now introduce you to the 3 wise tales, Petal, Blossie and Dottie. They are going to show you the 3 ways to break free from being under the control of repetition compulsion and the 6 bad message. Hello lads, how are you doing? Have a chat now. Talk away.
Hello, my name is Petal, and I am the first of the 3 wise tales. Today we are going to show you how to heal from repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages using one simple but powerful idea. Are you living your life as the top dog, or are you stuck as a cog? Are you top dog or cog? Let me start by explaining what we're up against. Repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages are powerful subconscious forces that cause us to repeat in our adult lives what we learned in a toxic and abusive childhood. Growing up in a toxic or abusive environment, we learned what Annette calls the 6 bad messages. And they are, number 1, you are not enough. Number 2, you are responsible for me and others. Number 3, don't trust your feelings and don't trust your instincts. Number 4, you are bad, you are wrong. Number 5, you are alone, nobody loves you. And number 6, you must be perfect or nobody will love you. But these 6 bad messages are a pack of lies. They are not the truth about you. You see, we didn't choose these 6 bad messages, and I will explain why. As little children, we could not dare to admit to ourselves that our caregivers were bad or wrong or even abusive. So we subconsciously turned the blame on ourselves and we started feeding the 6 bad messages to ourselves. We felt we were to blame for our unhappiness and the toxic environment we lived in. Since this was all done subconsciously, we didn't even know we were doing this. But here's the problem. When these 6 bad messages run our lives without us even knowing it, we are not in control of our lives. We are not the top dog. We are just a cog, a small moving part inside the sinister machinery of repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages. That's why the very first way to heal is awareness. Awareness means seeing the pattern. When you look at your behaviour and your choices, you can recognise a pattern. You can see that your behaviour and choices are not just bad luck. They are not just due to your personality. Instead, they are what you learned to do in your childhood and you are now repeating this in your adult life. The moment you become aware of repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages, something extraordinary happens. The machinery of repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages starts to lose its power. Because once something is in your conscious mind, in your awareness, it can no longer secretly control you. Awareness moves you out of being a helpless cog and starts to put you firmly in the position of top dog. You start to acknowledge for the first time that the forces of repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages are running your life, and now you can actually see what's happening. And when you can see it, you can change it. You will no longer be under the control of repetition compulsion and those awful 6-line bad messages. Welcome to freedom. Welcome to being top dog. And now let me hand you over to Blossy. He's going to tell you the second way to heal from being under the control of repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages.
Hello, my name is Blossy, and I am the second of the 3 wise tales. I am very old, so these days I have a long white beard. But being very old doesn't just mean I have a hairy face. It also means I am very wise, and I am so happy to share this wisdom with you. Now let me tell you why the second way to heal is so important. Most people who grew up in toxic or abusive homes were never taught to trust their feelings or instincts. In fact, they were often taught the opposite. If they ever dared to speak up and give their opinion on something, or if they ever expressed how they felt about something, they were often told, "Oh, you're too sensitive," or "You're just imagining things," or "Oh, don't be so dramatic," or "Will you keep your opinions to yourself and don't make trouble?" Over time, they learned to disconnect from their feelings and their instincts, and in doing this, they disconnected from their inner warning system. And that inner warning system, your feelings and your instincts, it is your natural defense system. When you don't trust your instincts, you can't protect yourself. And when you can't protect yourself, you would be easily exploited by toxic and abusive people. That's how repetition compulsion keeps you as a cog. You keep walking back into toxic relationships. You keep tolerating mistreatment. You keep overriding the feeling that says, "This doesn't feel right. I should be away from this." But when you start to listen to your feelings and trust your instincts, everything changes. Your instincts sense danger before your thoughts even catch up. Trusting your feelings and your instincts means you start choosing safety. You start choosing yourself. You start saying no to toxic and abusive situations. And every time you listen to that inner voice, you step out of the machinery. You stop being a cog and you become the top dog. You become the boss of your life. Because top dogs protect themselves. Top dogs listen to their inner voices. Top dogs don't abandon themselves just to keep the peace. Top dogs protect themselves from toxic and abusive situations. So today, no more being a cog. Today, you start being the top dog. And now, let me hand you over to Dottie. She's going to tell you the third way to break free from the control of repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages.
Hello, my name is Dottie, and I am the third of the 3 wise tales. Did you know that I am the queen in the pack, so I am the top dog? I just had a bath as I rolled in fox poo again, so Annette had to clean me before I'm allowed back up on the bed. Now I'm going to tell you about the final way to heal, and this one is powerful. You see, the 6 bad messages, they didn't come from nowhere. They came from toxic childhood experiences where we had to adapt in order to survive. Remember how Petal told us that as little children we could not dare to admit to ourselves that our caregivers were bad or wrong or even abusive? So we turned the blame on ourselves and we started feeding the 6 bad messages to ourselves. Well, these 6 bad messages followed us all the way into adulthood. They stay with us unless we learn to get rid of them. So here's the truth about the 6 bad messages. They are not facts. They are lies we learned as we tried to survive in a toxic or abusive childhood. And every time we repeat them in our heads, we say things to ourselves like, I'm not enough, I must be perfect, I'm alone in this world. We are feeding the machinery of repetition compulsion. The 6 bad messages feed into keeping us stuck under the control of repetition compulsion. They keep us stuck as cogs in the machinery of repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages. Therefore, the third way to break free from being under the control of repetition compulsion and the 6 bad messages is to nip and flip the bad messages. This means catching the bad message and stopping it. You nip it. You nip it in the bud. You don't give it airtime. When you hear this message coming into your mind, you nip it in the bud. You interrupt it and then you flip it to the truth. So, you are not enough becomes I am enough exactly as I am. You are responsible for me and others becomes no, I am responsible for myself. You are alone becomes I am not alone. People love me. I have lots of people in my life who love me. Now, you would probably say to me, you're a Dottie, but that's so obvious. But it's not obvious. And why do I say this? Because the 6 bad messages are fed to you from your subconscious mind. So you are not even aware you are feeding yourself these bad messages. But when you hear a bad message coming in and you flip it to a good message, then you are able to retrain your conscious mind to believe the good messages about yourself. And it is very important to remember that you can control what you say to yourself with your conscious mind. You can retrain your conscious mind to believe the truth about yourself. You learn to really believe how you are a fine, good, wonderful person that deserves love and respect. Every time you nip and flip a bad message, you take your power back. You stop believing the lies that were never yours to begin with. And this is how you step fully into being the top dog. Because top dogs choose their thoughts. Top dogs don't let old childhood programming run the show. Top dogs are no longer cogs in a system designed to keep them stuck. So today, I want to finish by telling you a few good messages from the 3 wise tales. I want to tell you that you are not alone. You are here with us, and we are all learning to have better lives. And one more thing, the three wise tales want to tell you that we really, woof, you